Processing fear. What would you guys like to know? What kind of questions can we ask? Casey?
How can releasing fear help me?
Okay, that's always a carrot at the end of the stick. How can, yeah, perfect. Yes. What else? Jill?
It might not be a relevant question, but something I've always been curious about of why does fear show up in different parts of your body?
Oh, okay, so why does suppressed fear, because those are suppressed emotion,
Right.
why are the suppressed fear in the soul shows up at different parts of the body as different illnesses or different pain?
No, like one time, my legs are shaking and then
Yeah.
that goes, and then my hands are shaking and like
Yeah.
it's completely unrelated. And then my stomach is shaking,
Fine.
completely unrelated, right?
Why is it when I process fear, it releases differently every time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, that is a good one. What else?
I'm curious about how do you release fear?
Yeah.
Like when it comes up, what do you do? What do you do? Yeah.
Okay, so how can I release or process the fear? Please give me a feeling. You can actually ask, what would it feel like when I'm releasing fear? They'll actually give you the feeling of what it's going to feel like to you. And that can give you a good sense of, it's a little intimidating, and then you start to prepare for it. For sure. Okay.
And also, is it possible to live life without fear?
You're supposed to.
Without any fear?
Yeah, you're supposed to release all your fear completely out of your soul and be fearless. That was the point. It's the fear that is very, 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 very wrong. If you go back and watch all the processing fear videos, I think there's some discussion on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely ask your guide. You can actually ask your guide, like, is it possible to live without fear? And they're probably going to say, you haven't lived if you're in fear. You're not even alive. It's probably what we're going to get. Okay. What else do you guys want to know? Andy?
So what's the fear that I can most easily deal with, or what's the fear that I should deal with first, something like that?
Yeah. What fear can I start dealing with right away? Yeah, perfect. And you can actually ask that every day. What fear can I be working through today or releasing today? That's a really good one. And also, and every single process you got to go through will involve fear. You start with fear and then you find something. You start with every single thing you're going to do, you're going to process fear. You're going to find some kind of fear. If you didn't have fear, it wouldn't be blocked, basically. So, Sandy?
Sorry, I'm really excited about this because I'm in the middle of like a fierce storm, hurricane, tornado situation. What is my biggest fear? Like, I feel like all fears lead to like a core, big master fear. Like, I just want to get to the bottom of what it is.
Okay. Well, I would say, what are my biggest fears? That's a good question to ask. And also, fears are used to cap under emotion underneath. So fears are not their own end result. They're part of the process. So when you're a child and you were forced to suppress your emotions, fear is generated because you had to suppress an emotion based on the experience of the suppression. And now you're afraid to go back and remember the event. That's one of my working theory about it. So when you're processing fear, you're going to find another emotion under it, always. Unless the emotion is a child. But even then, like the powerlessness I'm working through, the fear I'm releasing is that God has abandoned me. That's the powerlessness for me. It's the feeling that God has abandoned me, which is a lie. that I'm believing. And I need to process it because then I can release that lie. And every fear you feel signifies a lie that you're believing. Every fear, there's always a lie. And you can't absorb the truth about it until the fear is released. So you actually physically have to process the fear. But that great question to ask. What are my biggest fears? And you may feel your guides being very like, oh, it's just that little thing. Oh, come on. It's harmless. It's nothing. And we hold on to it with everything. What else do you want to know about fear?
Oh, hi. I wanted to say something, but the kettle's just boiling, so just hang on.
I'll ask Steph first. Steph, go ahead.
I have been wondering about how are the fears that I might have inherited. So are they of my own?
Brilliant. Yep. Are my fears inherited or from my own childhood experiences or both? Yeah, absolutely. Noreen, are you ready?
Yeah, I was just writing that one down. I like that one. Let me see, what was it? It has to do, I don't know how to exactly put it to a question, but it has to do with the step before the processing of the fear, because it's the fearfulness of finding out what's behind that fear.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There is a fearfulness of finding out what is
Absolutely.
covered up by that fear.
Absolutely.
And so that's the stuck place.
Yeah.
So what is a way to get past that stuck place so that you can even open the door to go, I'm going to look at this now, but that, I don't know how to word that, but that's what I want to think about.
The best way is to actually release it. Like, as long as the fear is that you're constantly going to be pushing against it, overcoming it, going under it, going around it, actually release it. It's like a thing that you release. It's now free, and you never have that fear again, or you'll have it just briefly. So actually let yourself process. I'm terrified to know what's under the fear. I'm terrified to know what's in here. How bad is it? And actually make a list of what is it you're afraid of about all of it. And then process the experience. Let yourself go through it one by one by one. So get it out of the way. Otherwise, you're going to keep overcoming it again and again. It's very exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
There's a real freedom when a certain set of fear is released. There's a real freedom to it. And Grace has suggested a question. What are my blocks to fear? Yeah. Blocks to processing fear, Grace, is that what you mean? Okay, we got some nice list of questions to ask. So let's start with, okay. Let's start with, what is fear? How was it created? You know, inherited or childhood experiences. And why do I want this emotion? We want this fear. We are holding on to it for a reason. So what is fear? How is it created? And why do I want this emotion? And we'll come back with the answers. Okay, so we got some answers. I noticed that my answers are very connected to here and now. So you're going to get answers that are probably about the process you're in right now. And if you ask it at different times, you keep getting different answers at all time. So who wants to share? What is fear? How was it created? And why am I holding on to it? Who wants to go? Andy?
So what is fear? Fear is your belief in an imagined scenario.
Okay.
We are capable of thinking up all sorts of things that could go wrong, and your fear is when you give this imagination too much scope to the point you believe it.
Okay, very good. And how was it created for you?
Fear is created in the mind and is the product of the intellect. Belief in the fear is what the soul feels.
Okay, thank you. Hardeep?
And why do I want this fear? Fear and belief in the fear is often preferred to acting on the situation in a rational manner.
Okay, so it's a desire to stay in an intellect and try to work it out through your mind. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's true. Thank you. Okay, and Hardeep, if you can answer, what is fear?
Okay. To me, what came was what is fear is actually my whole life.
Yes, I know her, so yes, absolutely true.
And it's really dark.
Yeah.
And how it was created and inherited, actually what came to me was that I've inherited the fear of what my grandfather felt for my dad, the fear he had for him.
Yeah.
My mom's fear of not amounting to anything.
Yeah.
And my own fear of evil all around me.
Brilliant. Wow, very good answers.
And why do I want this emotion or fear? Because I feel that I need to be punished.
Yeah.
And I know I am broadcasting it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do it anymore.
Okay. Okay. So you're already making a new desire about it. That's very good. My dad, that's my sister, by the way. My dad was autistic, so he was quite severely disabled. And so his dad had a lot of fears for him, about him, which is why he even married him, which was, I guess, mistake of many people's lives. And so Hardeep has absorbed his fear about my dad's well-being and how to care for him. And back then, even now, actually, in my culture, if something's wrong with the son, marry him off, and somehow the wife and the children will take care of it, or will make it better, or he will grow a spine, or whatever else it is. Lots of damage in my culture, women and children, of generation after generation, based on this belief that we have. So yeah. Okay, so that's beautiful. And Hardeep's been looking at her fear for a very long time now, slowly growing her desire to see the damage and to process it. So that's really good. Anybody else? Grace, and then Jill.
Okay, so what is fear? Fear is like a rubber barrier around my soul. It blocks anything good from entering. It blocks anything bad from leaving. It is a prison in which I live alone in a dark space without love or light. How was it created? It was created when those around me didn't want me to be myself, to access my own emotions, to feel my own soul. It was a way to disconnect me from God and my guides.
Okay.
And why do I want this emotion? And I got a similar answer to Andy. Basically, it allows me to surrender control to someone else, and absolves me of taking any responsibility or actions, because I can't do that because I'm scared is an acceptable response in today's society.
Yeah, very well. Thank you. Jill.
Hopefully I explained this right. Okay, so I got it as very much like a human created emotion. So it comes from, or when it was created, I guess it was created because we walked away from God.
Yeah.
We believe our fear is our protector. We believe our fear is God, and that we don't have, if we don't have fear, we will die.
Yes.
So, right. So like,
False belief, yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, I can think of a million examples. And that, like, that's why we want it, is because it's our protector. We can, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so let's move along to the next set of questions. This is my favorite set of questions to ask. The reality check. How is fear affecting me financially, my health, my energy, relationship with my soulmate, affecting my children or pet? Anything else you want to ask? Your work, your passion? But I usually like to ask definitely the 5. How is fear affecting me financially, my health, my overall energy, my soulmate relationship, my children? And then, what are my blocks to releasing fear? And how can I release the blocks? Take your time with this. Let's set aside 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. Casey, go ahead.
Sorry, what was that last question?
How can I release the blocks to processing fear? Because we have blocks to fear, and I got to release the blocks. Or maybe you won't even need to when you realize what the block is. Sometimes you go, oh, this is not even real. There's nothing to process here. But sometimes you have to process. I had to process my block to fear. It took me like probably over a year to work through it one by one by one. Yeah. All right. I just want to add one thing about fear from the first section. One thing about fear is when you have fear towards someone or something, you're giving your power away to it. And that's why certain people or organization want you to stay in fear of them, because that's how they literally generate and receive power, and then they get to feel that they're something that they're really not. People who appear to be powerful or seeking power are actually in pretty bad condition. They actually have very little power themselves. The only way they can get any is by keeping you in fear. So when you process and release fear, there's no energy coming out of you anymore towards them. Okay, did you get some insightful answers from this section? Yeah, anybody want to share how it's affecting you in your circumstance? Steph?
Well, really, it just actually expanded into a longer list of questions. So, which I thought was hilarious. It just kind of building from the curiosity workshop.
Okay.
So like when I think about fear affecting me financially, it's like now the questions are like, well, how am I making illogical, panic-based decisions with a resource? You know, in health, it's like, well, if I'm not properly understanding how to take care of my physical body from a place of fear, then now it's like, okay, well, how, like, what is some missing information? Like, how do I start rebuilding my knowledge from ground zero of like what makes me healthy, like actually lovingly makes me healthy, not like this made up story in my mind. And then, you know, that family piece was really interesting because I get a sense of belonging when I live in fear.
Yeah.
And then when I got the answer for energy, it's like, well, this consumes a vast amount of energy. And then when I go back to food, it's like, well, no wonder I consume easy, fast, processed food for like the easy, cheap energy that's not really real. The block around soulmate, this sense of like, you know, the Gulf of Mexico showed up where it's like this, if I'm in fear, like there's this vast distance between us. And when I got into the blocks, it's that sense that I will die that Jill was mentioning, that fear of like, if I live without fear, I have nothing, right?
How are you
And
going to get the notice or the caution?
yeah, and
Exactly.
and then it was like an archery target showed up, that I will become the target for others' anger and hurt. So I actually need this wall of fear to protect myself.
Yeah, that's the lie. Yeah.
Right. So part of the lies that I tell myself. And then the how was really interesting for me, that I have to get really emotionally curious about how fear is actually harming me in the way that it's costing me a great deal of energy and like time, money, and like all of the resources.
Through your desire.
Yeah, like, so this is super desire based. And then another way to help me build that desire, my guides showed me to start asking how fear affects each individual chakra.
Perfect. Good one. That's a good one to ask. And I want to talk about health. And when it comes to health, when you have fear, fear itself damages your health. So if you release your fear, your health is already going to be restored, because it is fear that destroys it. And yes, once the fear is released, then the self-love shows up. You do have to release it. You have to get rid of it first. And then you're able to organically make better self-loving choices about how to care for yourself.
Yeah. And like I noticed earlier this morning, like getting into like just feeling pain, right? Like, and feeling hurt is incredibly hard. Like I'm at that part now where it's like, I want to be angry instead of feeling hurt.
Yeah.
So, and that's part of the fear training, it seems so far.
You're trying to get away from fear. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very difficult.
Okay. Well, you already got your answer. Keep growing your desire. When you see the true cost of what you're actually paying to hold on to the emotion, your desire will get stronger. So you've already been given a clue. And the desire is going to be your way of getting into fear. You will decide, like Hardeep is deciding, I don't want to pay this price anymore. This has got to go. That's the desire growing. And that happens from seeing the damage, from seeing. So you're receiving very good answers. Your guide's already telling you how you're going to find your way in. So, thank you. Somebody else? Andy?
So how is fear affecting me financially?
Yeah.
Holding on to money as you don't believe God will take care of you and provide your needs. Health, fear blocks the natural flow of energy in your body.
Yeah.
And wherever there is a block, a sickness or an injury will create itself. Energy levels will become stagnated by the lack of flow caused by the fear blocks, and a downward spiral will begin. And soulmate relationship. Fear can prevent the soulmates finding each other or even recognizing each other, and fear will push the soulmate further away from his or her mate.
Okay.
And then what are my blocks to releasing fear? Lack of knowledge of your own fears.
Okay. So you need to know, like, start to make a list of your fears, because you don't even recognize how much fear you have. Yeah, it's a really good answer.
Yeah, I don't really have much fear that I know about.
Yeah.
So
getting more truth about it will help.
it's different.
Okay, yeah. So that's a good set of experiment and questions to engage with. Show me my fears. Show me how many fears I have. I don't believe I have fear in this issue. Convince me. There are lots of experiments you can do about that. That's really good. Thank you. Okay, so let's go into how can I process or release the fear? What fear can I start dealing with right away? And what are some of my biggest fears? you may get some questions where you're going, I'm not getting any answer right now, because you're going to be blocked. You're like, I don't want to know this right now. I don't want to feel this fear. So don't be surprised if you don't get an answer, and that's okay. You kind of go, well, I'm numb here. That's fine. So let's just see what happened. Okay.
What was the third question, please, Dharm?
What are some of my biggest fears? Okay, what did you guys get on how can I process or release the fear? Casey, oh, and then Noreen. Casey, do you want to share?
Sorry, I'm been connecting with Sarah a lot during these questions, and the amount of love that I've been receiving is quite painful. So how can I release or process the fear? Basically, I'm just being encouraged to keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah. Keep surrendering to it, keep allowing it. I can ask for help to stay in it or to get back in it if I take myself out.
Okay.
And then the other piece that I got that I haven't actually thought of before is really allow law of attractions to affect me. Like use everyday things that happen as tools to affect me. Each moment, allow it to affect me. What fear can I start dealing with right away? The fear that if I don't meet the approval of my family, I will have no one.
Yeah, that's a good one to get it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what are my biggest fears? That I don't belong, that I have no value or worth, and that I will be rejected, unwanted by God.
Okay. Wow, imagine life without that feeling. That'd be beautiful. Thank you. Noreen.
Sorry. First, I want to say I don't think I've ever seen your hair down. I love it. You should wear it down all the time.
It's still wet. That's what's happening.
How do I process and release my fear? Journaling, ritual, and meditation. And I've had meditation in my life, but journaling and ritual I've pushed aside because I don't think I have time. But those two are the first two that really came up for me. What fear can I deal with right away? That was the last question. It was really hard for me to come up with what that was. And finally it was admitting that I actually have fear in my life right now and choosing that my next decision that I make is not going to be based on fear.
Okay.
And Casey, I just wanted to say, like, for what you said, like, you know, if you choose about your family, well, waiting your family approval. I haven't had my family's approval for a long, long time. And
life's pretty good.
Oh, well. What are some of my biggest fears? Being truly alone, physically, no friends, no relationships, having no resources, dying through suffering, and all the most important people who know me, my story, and who I am that kind of prop up me as that person that who I am right now, gone or leave.
Okay.
Those are.
Okay, good, thank you. And yeah, meditation and journaling can help you to have some experiences of fear. Like you can ask, can you give me a little bit of fear to taste right now? Just give me a little, like 30 seconds, just let me feel something. And then the fear will come up and you'll go, whoa, yeah, no, thank you. Okay, wow, that was intense. Or you may go, 30 seconds, let's go another minute. This is okay. It was intense, but I'm still here. I feel lighter, my head is calmer. So you never know. Sometimes I have to have the taste of the emotion and then I have to kind of prepare myself for it and then go back at it going, okay, let's do it now. Shame is something that took lots of layers of dipping my toe in and go back at it and go back at it and have some tantrums, get through that. So yeah, okay, good answers, thank you. And yet to recognize that I have fears, that is an important step to take, to even recognize how much fear you have and what it looks like. Hardeep, what did you get for how to process fear? I'm curious.
I got by moving and feeling the pain itself.
Yeah.
Which is really literal.
Yeah.
What fear can be dealt with right away? I got fear of dying.
Yeah.
And fear of going dumb.
Okay.
And what are my some of my biggest fear? This is kind of out of nowhere, but maybe not a surprise to you. Ending up poor and disabled.
Okay. What about being alone? How is that not on your list?
I don't know. I'm very surprised with the two that did come up.
Maybe you've been looking at it.
And then after that, I've been just like mentally shut down. I'm like, okay, no, I want to do this anymore.
Yeah, perfect.
And I stopped.
That's it. That's it. You're going, oh, look, there it is. There it is. I'm numbing out. Perfect.
Yeah.
You got a little taste of it, and then you go, whoa, okay, not going there. And then you have to build your desire to go back at it. That's good. Thank you. Okay, so I've decided to add 2 more questions to our list. And these are questions that I've started adding for my own processes as well. How can my guides help me to process or release fear? And how can God help me? It's like 2 separate questions. You don't have to ask about God if you're not feeling open to that, or ask and see. You may be surprised. You may actually get an answer, and that will help you have some kind of awareness. So, 2 last questions. How can my guides help me, and how can God help me? Okay. Really curious with your answers. Casey, what did you get?
Knew you were going to say my name. I had a chuckle because most of my answers have Sarah poking, like, I can help you.
Yeah. Okay.
So for the one about how can my guides help me, it was just see above. See all the wrong answers. But the one about God got me a little bit. God is already helping me.
Okay.
With law of attraction, with Sarah, with movie nights with my friends.
Is that a scary experience for you? Come on.
Movies that I would never choose for myself.
Okay.
So they bring out emotions that I wouldn't necessarily gravitate towards because I can avoid them without my friends.
Okay. Like, hang out with your scary friends. That'll get you going.
Yeah, but my scary friends are loving, so that's fine. It's the movies that elicit emotions that I would not go towards.
Thank you. It's all right. Casey, Grace, and I have been watching movie on Thursdays as a way of surviving COVID, so I'm just making fun of her. It's like, me? I'm the scary friend. Okay. Andy, what did you get?
The guide can help you see your fears if you ask to be shown.
Oh.
Can offer you challenges to face your fears. Support you with love and protection whilst you face them.
Wow. Okay, that's beautiful. The part about, oh, they can challenge you is something I've never asked them to do. No, please do not.
Well, I didn't say, but they challenged me in the last one, you see. It was like, what can I start doing now was honesty at 100%.
Oh.
So there's the challenge.
That is a challenge. That would trigger a lot of fears, if not all of them. Wow. Okay.
So surrender to God can remove the fear entirely from you.
Wow.
And leave you just with the memory of the event without the fear of baggage attached.
Okay. So God can remove your fear if you're just willing to go back to that memory. Okay. Wow.
Surrender to it, yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Hadi, what did you get?
My guides will help me by carrying me and taking care of me while I process my fear.
Okay.
And God will help me by giving me gentle surge of energy.
Yes. Okay. Is that exciting? Does it encourage you?
It's a lot to take.
You got some feelings it does?
Yes.
Beautiful.
It's just, I'm just very drained, exhausted, and tired right now that it's just a lot. It's just like, oh my God.
Okay.
But I gotta believe that I will be taken care of while I go on this journey.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. Anybody else? Steph?
Not an answer I was at all expecting. Even though I feel alone at this time and I have nowhere to belong, they are here, circled around me, loving me and excited to grow. Excited by my growing desire. They encourage me to keep doing what I'm doing, keep challenging conclusions and beliefs that motivate all of my actions. And then God as a parent loves me. She, him, enjoys watching me play and learn. Watching me become curious again brings God great joy and allows me to receive love wherever I ask a question from an honest emotion.
Okay.
I'm not sure how to put it into words, why God's love hurts me so,
Oh, yeah.
but it hurts to feel this and I run away from it.
Yeah.
And then I decide to not want it at all. So I close off from being curious about why does God love hurt me so.
Beautiful answer. I feel that true love like that exposes the pain we already carry, and that's why it hurts. It makes us feel how much unloved we feel, or how terrible we feel about ourselves, or especially worth. Anything that triggers worth for me, I shut it down. So that's beautiful. Thank you. Jess, do you wish to share? You don't have to. You good? Okay. Jill.
Sure. I got as far as how to, more of an answer of how to connect to my guides in order for them to help me. Like meditate, ask the questions, ask for help. And it can be simple of not feeling anything right now, help me feel why I'm blocked.
Right.
Right. Even something like that. Opening up and letting God in. Building that relationship with God, like building that desire, talking to God, same kind of thing as building a relationship with your guides. And the image I got was like a lotus flower opening up to the sun.
Okay.
It slowly, patiently, methodically. So it's a repetitive, very gentle kind of relationship that you sort of build. Asking about desires, asking about anything that you want to know, but also acknowledging that you are afraid, even if you don't feel it. So, and developing an understanding of the fear and always you are in it. Procrastination came up to be able to describe that one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that, like, recognizing all the little nuances of how you are currently in fear but not feeling it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Lauren, do you want to share? If you got something?
Yes. How can my guides or God help me to release fear? The first thing that came up for me was that feeling to being cut off from my guides and God. The fear is no direction, alone, no roadmap, in the dark, disadvantaged, no love, care, protection. And then was I'll never find it, which is hopelessness. And so no one in my family has found God. My mother, my father, so no one has gone before me.
Yeah.
So it's impossible. I don't, the belief is that it's impossible. And the belief under that is that no one cares. My guides are God. They don't care.
Yeah.
My mother rejected God. She joined Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. That's who she feels helps her. They can help by allowing me to see what is underneath my fear. So these are my guides and God.
Okay.
God is already providing that platform, but I don't know it. Like I hear it logically.
Yeah.
Guides are caring for me, but I completely, like at some point I know that I've been connected to it, but I'm disconnected.
Okay.
So I'm going to just keep asking to be connected.
Yeah, and to become aware of the connection.
I don't know. I don't have any sense of my guides at all.
Yeah. Okay. So what we said, a question is, please help me become aware of my guides. Right? Help me become aware of how God is helping me right now. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
And that actually brings up a lot of pain, you know, just work through that. So I think that there's something there just to be with that, and journaling or quietness.
Absolutely.
To be feeling so cut off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm working through the same feeling myself. I feel alone and cut off. I can't feel my guides. I can't feel God. That's the exact same emotion I'm working through right now. So, and that's a very child's emotion. So it's good.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Grace, what did you get? Do you want to share?
This was difficult for me because I'm very angry at my guides and God right now. So I didn't really want to ask them, but I asked them like begrudgingly.
Yeah.
Okay. So how are my guides helping me? I got something similar, I think, to what Andy said. It's just I got like holding space for me to feel like one thing at a time. They really stressed like one thing at a time. So we'll give you the space, and we're like creating this protective little bubble for you, and you can feel your stuff within this bubble, but we're not going to let anything else like harm you, I guess. It was like you're stepping into your most vulnerable, what feels like your most vulnerable space, and we're gonna like keep everything out for you, kind of thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Very protective, like you're gonna feel like shit and you're gonna feel like you're gonna die, but we got you. Like there's this ring around you. And then how can God help me? This one I struggled with even more because I really, really don't like God right now. But basically I got like an image, not really an image, I guess like a feeling. And the best way I can describe it is like warmth pushing back the cold.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
okay.
It's like kind of like that bubbles up within me, and then like the cold kind of gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's a lovely feeling.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And definitely not feeling alone in that moment, are you? Like,
No.
that's the answer of you're not alone. You can't be. It's impossible. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. This is something that I think ideally all along this is what I wanted for all of us to say. Let's talk about anger. Let's talk about fear. But all of us are getting our own answers and our own experiences. This was probably my ultimate goal all along, just to realize it until today. Sorry, Grace, do you have a comment?
I just wanted to add something from what you said earlier about like how if people have a power addiction, you're giving your will away when you're feeling fear.
Fear, yeah.
I had sort of like an addition to that as well, if I could. So when you're feeling fear towards somebody who isn't trying to gain power over you, it actually feels like an attack.
Yeah.
Right? So like
That's right.
the example that came to mind, just like as a woman, which I don't know if that's fair to say or not, but like walking around alone on the street and like coming across maybe like a man
Mm-hmm.
and projecting at him the fear that I'm going to get attacked, when really that's nowhere near his brain. Like I'm actually attacking him in that scenario. So
Thank you.
just wanted to.
Thank you. Projection of fear is an attack on the other. The animals, the other people. When we as parents have fears about our children, we're attacking them. They feel assaulted. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. It's very, fear is very, very, very damaging on the planet right now. So the more you start to get to know how fear affects you and affects everyone around you, the more you'll start to grow your desire that you just got to get rid of this thing. There is nothing good about it. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, you have to become aware that you even have fear, because we have a lot of techniques and facades created because we have a lot of judgments about fear. You're weak, you're coward, you're a nobody, you'll never overcome your life, you'll never succeed, on and on. And we have all these false stories we have created and judgments about processing fear, when actually you're being the opposite. So as you work through each of your blocks, you'll start to get truth about how courageous it is, how proud you should feel that you're processing your fear. But yeah, fear is an attack on the other. I once asked God to show me what's it like for my children to feel when I'm feeling fear, when I'm worrying about them, what's it like for them? Oof, they were being assaulted. It was shocking for me to experience what it's like for them. You can actually ask that. You can ask, my fear that I have about this, what's it like for the other person to experience it? What's it like for the economy? What's it like for the planet, the trees, the plant, the animals? What's it like for them to experience my projection of fear? How is it affecting them? Okay, so next Sunday is the last one. I don't know what our topic will be, but we'll see. And then we have 2 Wednesdays left. So thank you very much for your participation today. People are still in good spirit. No one's gone down too much from connecting to this topic. That's really nice to see. And I'll see you guys soon. Okay.
Thanks, Dharm.